Hello everyone, my name is Ajay and today we are going to understand the difference between a RAM and a ROM. Now many people are confused what exactly is the difference, so let us understand this in detail. Now RAM, as you might know, that it stands for, the full form is random access memory, right? That's the full form, random access memory. And ROM, basically it stands for, that is read only memory. That's the full form. Okay, now what is the difference between a RAM and a ROM? RAM, okay, is a volatile memory. It's a volatile memory. And ROM is non-volatile in nature. Okay, so volatile and non-volatile, what does this mean? This means that volatile memory are the memories, okay, the data will remain in the memory till the time there is a power supply. There is power supply. Okay, so volatility means the data is into the memory till the time there is a power supply. What does this mean? This means that till the time your computer, your PC is on. This is what it means. So till there is a power supply, the data will be present in the memory, but once the power supply is gone, then the data gets erased. Okay, this is an important point. So that's the RAM. Now let us understand. Now we are going to talk further on RAM. So first let us just compare it with ROM. ROM, as it stands for read-only memory, is a non-volatile. Okay, non-volatile memory. It's a non-volatile memory. Non-volatile in nature means that data remains even when there is no power supply. So even when there is no power supply, the data will be present in the memory. Okay, this is what it means. Okay, now why do we require this RAM and why do we require this ROM? That is what we are going to understand. What does this mean and why do ROM needs to retain the data? Okay, now RAM basically is used for the program execution. It is used for the program execution, right? So basically whatever you do onto a PC, so you switch on your PC and then you run various applications, you're working on an application. So all the apps that you are running, all the apps on the PC, okay, runs, okay, it gets executed in the RAM. That is what you can say. Actually it's the processor, but the instructions are stored in the RAM. This is what I mean to say. Okay, so if your RAM is maybe 2 GB RAM, which is very less in today's time, so your PC will not work properly because the memory is quite less. So every program, okay, the instructions are stored in the RAM. So what happens basically is when you click onto an application, you click on the start button and you click onto an application. So this is your PC, you click on some application, right? And then you open that application like a paintbrush. So that's the application. So that application will be loaded onto the RAM and then instruction by instructions will be executed. So it helps for the program execution. Without RAM we cannot run the applications. Simple as that. So we require the RAM in a computer. So more the RAM, the smoother your computer is going to work. So nowadays everybody has minimum 4 GB or 8 GB, or you can go for the better performance is 16 GB. So if you have a 16 GB RAM, so that's quite sufficient for almost all the applications you can run on a 16 GB RAM. Of course, with 16 GB RAM, what matters is your, is the processor. With your 16 GB RAM for your PC to work, okay, for your PC to work, you require a 16 GB RAM along with a good processor, and the processor is maybe your i3, i5, i7. These are your processors, right? So it's 16 GB RAM and a minimum i3 processor, your computer will work very smoothly. So you require a good, RAM for the applications to run properly. This applies even with your smartphones, right? If your smartphone has minimum 8 GB RAM, so that's like very good for you. The smartphone will work very smoothly. You can run multiple applications. You can play video game. Of course, there are other factors which matters, but yes, for a smooth running, a better RAM is always, it should be there. Okay, so we require RAM. Without RAM, the computer will not function because there is no place for the program execution if the RAM is not present. Simple as that. Okay, in fact, if you want to understand this in more detail, let us understand this in more detail. Our OS, which is the operating system. So operating system, okay, we are using, maybe you're using a Mac or you're using a Microsoft Windows 11. Suppose you're using Windows 11. So Windows 11 itself is an app. Itself is an application. Understand this. Itself is an application. So what happens is, if this is your RAM, this is your RAM, a small portion of the RAM always will be occupied. Okay, it's not like your RAM is completely 100% free. That you can never see, because there are many background programs that keeps on running in the RAM, and of course the OS itself is always present, needs to be present in the RAM. So there are a copy of the OS. This is why you will never see that your RAM is 100% free. That is not possible. Okay, because Windows itself is an application. Now what happens, as I told earlier, is if you click on any application, so the OS basically helps to load that application into the RAM. But who loads the window itself or the operating system itself? Right? Now comes the work of the ROM. This is, now let us talk more about ROM. ROM, which stands for read-only memory, as I said earlier, right? Read-only memory. Now, this is a small memory, and this is only for a reading purpose. This is what it's indicating. It is only for the reading purpose. We do not write anything onto the ROM. Please understand this. RAM is volatile. It is used for reading and writing both. But for ROM, it is only used for reading purpose. Now, what does it have? It has the instructions. It carries a small amount of instructions, which we call it as a bootstrap. Okay, so kind of bootstrap instruction, which helps to boot your system. So when your PC is off, there is no power supply, and the first time when you boot your system, you switch on the button. What happens is, these small instructions which are permanently stored onto this ROM. Okay, these are permanently stored onto this ROM, and these instructions are always present even if there is no power supply. As I said, ROM is a non-volatile memory. So the instructions remains in this ROM. Right? For example, I have a pen drive. If I have a pen drive, so what happens? I want to copy some data in a pen drive. What do? I just plug it right in the USB port, copy the data, and then what we do? We remove that pen drive. We remove that pen drive and keep it in our pocket. Right? So does that data is present in the pen drive? Yes, of course it is present. So even pen drive is a non-volatile memory. Please understand, because the data is present in the pen drive in spite of that we have removed the pen drive. There is no power supply. Still, the data is present in the pen drive. okay, in the pen drive. So even pen drive is a non-volatile memory. Similarly, even ROM is a non-volatile memory. The instructions are always present in this memory. So when we switch on a computer, a small, the instruction, what it does, it helps to the OS. It helps the OS to get loaded onto the RAM, and this is the entire thing that it works internally. So basically these instructions are used for the OS to load onto the RAM, and once that OS gets loaded onto the RAM, then your PC starts, then you see that icon of Windows and everything, your application gets loaded, and then you run your own applications top on that. This is how internally the things work, and this is the exact difference between a RAM and a ROM. Let me just go back. The exact difference between a RAM. So I hope now this is very much clear. What we have understood till now is RAM, which stands for random access memory, ROM, which stands for read only memory. Why do we require it? Also we have understood RAM is a volatile memory. The data remains only till the time there is a power supply. Your PC, your laptop is on, the data retains. Once there is no power supply, data gets erased. ROM, data is always present. It is only used for reading. And why do we require a ROM in a PC? For the booting process. That's it. But majorly we are never concerned with ROM. We never talk about ROM. When we buy a PC or a laptop, we majorly are concerned with your the internal storage and your RAM. How much storage it has and how much RAM it has, and what is the processor. This is what we normally talk about, because we don't require to talk about this is inbuilt. And we never talk about ROM that we require some extra ROM or something. We don't say that, right? Because it's not required. It has only the startup instruction for your PC to start. That's it. So I hope you have enjoyed this video. You have learned something, the basic difference between a RAM and a ROM. And if you have liked the video, so do subscribe. You can support me, and I will see you in the next video. Bye for now.